Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. So guys, a little while ago, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, I made an NBA video called 5 NBA players disappointing us, surprising us the most. And for today, we're flipping the script, we're turning it around and talking about the opposite. 5 NBA players currently disappointing us the most. Okay, so of course, comment your opinions. I picked 5 players here, okay? Now, usually the NBA, I feel like out of baseball, basketball, and football, the NBA, compared to the NFL and MLB, is the sport where you can find the most consistency in the athletes. Usually, for example, when a star player has been doing his thing for a long time, pretty much season in and season out, he's going to be putting up his usual great numbers. So usually they don't deteriorate from that. Whereas I feel like in the NFL and MLB, there's more randomness. You more often see down years from great players. So it is difficult. It has been difficult to find 5 players for this list. But nevertheless, I feel like I found 5 guys that still have been disappointing. But I think these guys, there's going to be hope for at least 4 out of 5 of them to turn it around. So let me know, guys, if I forgot someone or if there's someone who's more worthy of being on this list than these 5. So with that being said, guys, let's do this. Let's have some fun. 5 NBA players disappointing us all. I made a PowerPoint for this because I made a PowerPoint earlier, I think, for a previous video, and I like the way that went, so we did another PowerPoint. Here we go. 5 NBA players disappointing us all. We're going to start with some ground rules. First rule, okay, injuries don't count. Now, I did this with my all-NFL disappointing team ground rules. This is rule number 1. Look, if you've missed more than half the games due to injury, you've missed significant time, I'm sorry, doesn't count. Second rule, injuries don't count either, i.e. Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving. Look, they've disappointed us, but they just haven't played. So we're just judging strictly on the on-the-court performance, okay? So if you haven't played, it doesn't count no matter what the reason is that you haven't played. Now we're going to finally move on to the actual list. Player number 1, I think a lot of you saw this one coming. Blake Griffin. Dude, I know he's on the Nets now, but this is one of the greatest pictures in NBA history. I love this one. He was having a little too much fun with his athletic trainer, or his trainer. Oh my God, that's so funny. I just had to use that picture. Okay, so in 18 games this year, you guys know it's not good. But in 18 games, Blake Griffin's averaging 5.6 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 33% field goal percentage. Are you kidding me? 16% from 3. It's just, oh my God. Compare it to his career numbers. He's had a great career. 20.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, over 4 assists, 49% from the field, and 32% from 3. Man, what a fall from grace for Blake Griffin. I think a good question is going to be, is Blake Griffin going to be a Hall of Famer? Now, if this was the MLB or NFL Hall of Fame, definitely not. But the NBA seems to let in, they seem to be more generous when it comes to who makes and who doesn't make the Hall of Fame, but who gets in. They seem to be more generous than other sports, so that's a good debate. He's had a great career. He's not a bust. I don't want to hear it for any of you who say, oh, he was the first pick, he's a bust because Steph Curry and James Harden had better. He still had a great career, but it's been a fall from grace for him. He's on the back end of his career, which is surprising because he's only 32. I know a lot of you think he's an old man and way older. He should still be putting up great numbers. He should still be in his prime, but he's not. Poor guy. He's losing playing time. He's not even playing right now. Or I think he was getting DNP CDs, not playing because of the coach's decision for like 2 weeks. Finally got in his first game yesterday, but yeah, it's getting to be close to the end for Blake Griffin, unfortunately. That's not a surprise. Player number 2 is going to be Duncan Robinson. Now look, Duncan Robinson's only on the floor for one reason and one reason only, and that is to shoot the lights out, which he's done in his career. But this season, here's what's surprising. 26 games, okay? 10.7 points per game, which is fine. It's just what you expect from him. But 36% from the field, 33% from three-point range, 73% from free throw. This is like a 50, 40, 90 guy usually. I mean, this guy puts up crazy good, efficient percentage numbers. I mean, I don't know what he's been doing. If you compare it to his career, 12 points per game, okay, 44% from the field, 40% from three-point range, and over 85% from the free throw line. The percentages have fallen off. Has the NBA figured out Duncan Robinson. I don't know. But the good news for him, though, is that the last few games he's kind of figured it out. He's starting to. Last 4 games, I think he's shooting over 40% from the three-point range. So I think he's turning it around. I think he'll be fine. But those efficiency numbers, what he's meant to do, his number one and pretty much only purpose on the floor is to shoot the ball well. He hasn't really done that this year. So, but I think he'll turn it around. He's a great shooter. Great shooters always figure it out. So I think he'll be fine, but he's been disappointing, I gotta say. Okay, next player is Damian Lillard. This might not come as a surprise because there's been controversy as to whether or not he wants out of Portland. They just fired their general manager. Things aren't looking that good for the Blazers right now, so, it's not a surprise. But 20 games this season, okay, 21.5 points, which is still good, but it's not Damian Lillard numbers, okay? 39% from the field, 30% from three-point line. I mean, this is logo Lillard. He shouldn't be shooting this poorly from the field and from three-point range. Now, in his career, obviously better numbers than this, over 24.5 points per game, 43% from the field, 37% from three. Especially the last few years, he's putting up like between 27 and 30 points per game, season in and season out. He has fallen. Obviously, this is what I mean. This is considered a down year for a superstar, still putting up over 20 points in his sleep, so even in a down year. But yeah, he's been disappointing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's been bad. Portland's not looking good. I don't know if he wants out or not. Recently or yesterday, I think he clarified that he doesn't want to trade. I don't know if that has correlation with this. It might. He's just not playing that well. So, but he's Damian Lillard. He'll turn it around. So, yeah, no concern yet for the last 2 players, but the first player on this list, Blake Griffin, I think he's on the way out. Player number 4, all right, we got another superstar here, and that is Joel Embiid. Now, he's turning it around as well. Recently, he's played really well, but this is a guy who in 15 games this season, 24.5 points per game, 44% from the field, 77% from the free throw line. These are great numbers, and I didn't put the rebounds, assists, and blocks because that's following up right. That's right where his career mark is. But here's why I would say he's been disappointing, because Ben Simmons hasn't played this year. Okay, so I think a lot of people thought he would put the team on his back right from the get-go and average numbers not only as good as his season from last year, not only as good as his numbers from last year, but maybe even better. His numbers last year were 28.5 points per game, 51% field goal percentage. I forgot to put the field goal there, or FG indicating field goal percentage. 85, or almost 86% from the free throw line. So he has dropped off from last year's production, but he is getting better. His last few games, I think he's averaging like over 30 points per game. He'll be fine, but I thought at least he would be matching his production from last year. Now, and Ben Simmons is out, I thought he would kind of put the team on his back. Hasn't done that in the large sample size, however large of a sample size 15 games is. Hasn't quite done that yet, but I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, a little disappointing though, gotta admit. So now we move on to our 5th final player on this list, and that is Caris LeVert. Now, Caris LeVert isn't a superstar, probably isn't even a star yet, but I thought coming into this year, he was the missing piece for the Pacers. When he came over from that trade from Brooklyn last year, I thought this year he was going to have a full year on the Pacers. They were going to get that extra scorer that they needed, and he hasn't really done that, at least comparing to what he did last year. So this year, 15 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, 3 assists per game, and only 26% from three-point range. And if you compare that to last season's numbers between the Pacers and Nets, if you combine those two, I mean, look at the drop-off across the board. 20.2 points per game. The rebounds are down. The assists are down. It's like he cut those numbers in half almost. And the three-point percentage wasn't very good last year either, but it was better than this year. Just all around, numbers are dropping. Hopefully he figures it out. He's still young. It's a new team for him, but I think his disappointment, I think it's a good symbol of what the Pacers have been as a team, because as a team, they've just really disappointed this year. I think you guys know that. The Pacers they've really struggled, and I think it's fair to have at least one representative from that team, because they might be one of the more disappointing teams, so it makes sense. So that is our list, guys. And is that it? Yep. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to comment your opinions and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're an NBA fan, NFL fan, MLB, subscribe if you haven't already. I think you'll like this channel. And by the way, guys, this picture, this is never before seen camera work right here. Never before seen picture. I've never shown this to anyone, I think. I think this is maybe 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Yeah, maybe 2 years ago for Movember. I had a beard, shaved it down to a mustache, just took one picture of it, and then shaved off the mustache as well. There's no way I was going out in public like that, but that's a funny one. I thought I could add that. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a great rest of your day.